In the last 2 days, I've gotten phone calls, one from a 510 area code and one from an 863 area code, which is actually Lakeland. And they told me there was some Windows support and my computer's sending out messages. I'm kind of the wrong one to call on that. Because I asked the guy, I said, well, how do you know it's my computer? And he said, we have, and his accent was good enough I couldn't understand him. So I asked him, I said, you have the MAC address of my physical computer, so you know this is actually coming from my computer. He said, I know it's coming from your computer. If you go to this website, I'll show you. Well, I'm not that dumb yet. And so we talked a little bit more. I said, are you trying to sell me an antivirus or spyware software? And he goes, no, this is not a marketing call, and we're not trying to sell you anything. You have a problem, we need to show you. And so I asked him, I said, well, I got 20 computers in this office. How do you know it's coming from my computer? And he said, well, we're going to have to shut down every computer there and turn on one at a time and remote into them and see which one's causing the problem. Okay? Windows support would get most people. I'm calling from Windows support. Okay? And all they want to do is remote into your computer. And once they're into your computer, they can either put a program on, and that's probably what they're going to do, is put a program on to steal data. And then they got you. So don't let anybody remote into your computer unless you personally invite them or know them. And I don't care if they're from Windows support. And if you can't understand them, just hang up the phone. Because that was 2 days in a row I got that phone call. Okay, I'm Bob Savage with Savage Consulting, and most of you guys know me. We do computers and networks in the Tampa Bay area. Our mission is to provide customers with the best possible service at a competitive, fair rate. We are dedicated to building long-term relationships through quality service and support, and we're delighted to be recognized as the leading provider of computer services in the Tampa Bay area. Savage Consulting, we offer a variety of IT services in the Tampa area, including medical, legal, real estate, and retail. We specialize in dental office IT, medical office IT, and IT solutions. And regardless of the type of business you're in, we will find the right solution for your computer, internet, and networking needs. We will fill your company's IT dreams. We will take care of all of your IT needs, while allowing you to do what you do best to attain optimum satisfaction in your day-to-day business. Now, most of you know we're a Microsoft certified partner. We have just gone through the training and the testing, and we're now a member of the Apple Consultants Network. And so what that means for us and you is that we can better integrate your iPods and your iPads into your networks. If you want to buy your employees iPhones, we can control them from your location to what they install on them, what they can browse on them, anything you want. And we're able to do that. We're one of the two or three people in the area that have got that certification. HIPAA requires that you catalog all information system components that interact with, and I just want to say EPHI, I imagine you all know what that means. It's easier than spelling the whole thing, electronic patient health records. Okay, and that's hardware, software, network components. And a catalog is a written catalog. That has to be done. You need to assign a security manager. And this person should have the responsibility and authority to apply the HIPAA security requirements throughout the business. And that's just not IT. That's all of HIPAA. Antivirus. The expiration date must be documented. It must be updated frequently. And nightly full scans of all workstations and servers have to be done. And also, if we're allowed to put managed antivirus on the server, it's much easier to keep workstations updated, scanned, up to date. And also, for those of you who are running virtual servers, we got a server out there, we got a terminal server on it, we have Exchange server on it, or if you're running virtual machines that have Mac OSs on them and Windows OSs on them, you have to have antivirus on all OSs. You want to prepare for disaster with backups. You want to back up your data and your programs. Now with your programs, we have to have the disks. You want to put all your disks in a safe, convenient area, so if you ever have to reinstall a program, they're there. You don't want to be running around. If you have a major catastrophe where your server fails, usually all you back up is your data. Those that use it with us and use the AccuSys, we have an easier way. But if we have to rebuild a server, we have to reinstall the operating system and all programs. So that could take some time if you don't have them together. Off-site backups. They must be secure, and off-site backups are a requirement by HIPAA. You know, if you're using removable media and taking it off-site, storage and transportation of the media must be secure. You must create a contingency plan, and Mike brought this up, also known as a worst case scenario, backup plan, or disaster recovery plan. There is one sample plan in each one of the notebooks. If you want us to send you an email copy of it so you can manipulate it any way you want, get a hold of Pat and we'll be more than happy to email you a copy of that. Firewalls. We have hardware firewalls. They must have intrusion detection system on them, or intrusion protection, or intrusion detection systems on them. You have software firewalls. Now, intrusion detection will let you know that somebody's trying to break into your network. Intrusion protection actually lets you know and stops it right then and there. And the software is firewall. We can use Windows firewall on the machines as long as your practice management software will allow it. Some of them won't. Login monitoring. Use login monitoring should be set up on the server to watch for repeated failed login attempts, an account being logged in from multiple locations concurrently, login attempts outside of normal operating hours. Users should be restricted to logging in on the local workstations. There should only be one account on the local workstation. That should be the administrator, and nobody but the owners of the business and your IT company should have those passwords. And logs need to be saved for 6 years, and Mike's brought that up. That's a pain, but it's done. Termination policies when we get rid of people. You need to move their data to an inactive account quickly. You need to delete the user from both the server and the practice manager software as soon as possible. And if they have remote access, you need to stop it immediately. Because as Mike said, most data breaches come from internal. It's a quite profitable job. Password policies. Now this is where I get all the complaints, because this does not help you operate your business smoothly. Okay, strong password policies should be implemented. Okay, 8 to 14 characters should contain 3 or 4 of the following: uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters. Your maximum password age should be 90 days, so they need to change every 90 days. Minimum password age is 2 days. You don't want to change it too often, it gets confusing. Okay, account lockout. They should be locked out after trying 4 times to get into the machine. Password-enabled screensavers should be enabled and protect the computer within 15 to 20 minutes of inactivity. That's another big pain one. 5 minutes on computers that are easily accessible by patients, front desk computers. They're pretty easy to get to. Maybe even the ops, if we leave the ops and the patient can get up out of the chair. But usually we do 20 minutes on the computers and the ops because you're working. And then you got to turn around and see something. You got to put your login to get the x-ray back up. It's not fun. So usually 20 minutes on those. Okay, all data must be stored on a company's server within a dedicated folder tree within a database or application for managing it. Authorization is granted by username and password. You cannot store data on the local workstation. I don't care if it's scanned records, if it's Word documents, if it has any patient information on it at all. It cannot be on the local workstation. There is just no security there. Your operating system, it must be professional versions. And I've had clients that we work with that have gone out to your local discount stores and bought a computer, and I understand why. That's cheap. You can get them for $200 or $300, but they get home versions. Home versions do not join a domain, and a domain is a network security boundary. I've also seen when Vista first came out, a dental office put Home Vista on their workstations, and it destroyed the patient data on the server. And it happened right in front of me. I couldn't believe it. Home versions are not designed for networking. Do not use them. Security patch updates and security patches must be kept current. I don't believe in Microsoft's policy of applying patches to the servers automatically. They usually come out on Tuesday night, and there's been many, many, many cases on Wednesday mornings. I get a phone call, our server is down. So the workstations we can do automatically on, because usually if they go down, it's not a big deal. If a server goes down, it is a big deal. So they should be handled by somebody on site to do it and make a good backup before they do that. Disposing of data and computers properly. Magnetic media or hard drives, they must be securely destroyed by using software tools. Okay, CD-ROMs or DVDs, they must be shredded. USB flash drives are not recommended to store. If you do it, they must be physically destroyed. Or you can use the same tools that you use for a hard drive, but it's not quite as effective. And computers, use a secure recycling company, and we can take care of all of your recycling needs with any of your IT stuff. And it's done securely. Hard drives will be wiped to DoD standards, that Department of Defense. Any attempt to compromise the security of your patient information qualifies as a security incident, and it must be immediately reported to your security officer. Passwords cannot be shared. And I know a lot of offices, and we do it because it's easy and simple. Everybody uses the same username and password. That's really got to stop. Wireless policy. You need to use encryption and MAC address policy to limit access. Client, if they're on the network where they can access the internet and stuff like that, it's got to be a separate network. It cannot be the same network that you share, because then they have access to your data. Use WPA, WPA2, or WPA Enterprise, not WEP. And I know there's a lot of companies that we do have a lot of old routers, wireless routers that we've used that only supported WEP at the time. We need to change that. Do not use shared secrets, because once a secret is shared, it's no longer a secret, and anybody can get into your wireless. USB and CD RWs or DVDs now policies, disable to write them on a CD on the workstations. And do that by username or groups, because the doctor may need to get something on it, but you do not want an employee copying data to a CD or a DVD without your knowledge. Remote access must be encrypted through a VPN. If you're using remote desktop, don't remote it or allow them to remote into your computers without using a VPN. It is just not secure at all. Anybody can break into that. Device and media controls. Unencrypted data should not be installed on removable media, floppy disks, CD-ROMs, DVDs, flash drives, mobile devices, laptops, or PDAs. Because if you lose that laptop, if you lose the flash drive, if you lose the disk, it's anybody's data. Physical safeguards. And this is really hard in most of the offices out there to keep people out of the server. Usually we have them where it's convenient, and there's not a lot of storage space. But only authorized technicians should be allowed to the server and the wiring closet. Unused network jack should not be connected to the network. If you have a room out there that has a network jack, it should not be connected to the switches, something, anything like that, because you can just walk in, plug into it, and you're on the network. Workstation use. Users may not install software or modify the configuration of the server. And everybody has this problem that I know. Employees get a little break time, they get a little free time, and we're on the internet. And it says download, and they got it. You know. And again, patient data may not be stored on the local workstation. And I know companies out here, medical offices that we do, that do not have servers. They store everything on the local workstations, and I can't convince them otherwise. Email. HIPAA security standards do not require emails or any transit from doctor to be encrypted, but what needs to be encrypted is patient billing, administrative information, exchange with payers and health plans. Utilization and case management data, including authorizations, referrals that are exchanged with payers, hospitals, and utilization management organizations. Patient health information gathered from are displayed on a website or a portal. Lab and other clinical data electronically sent and received to and from outside labs. Word processing files used in transcription and other kinds of patient reports that are transferred electronically. Emails between physicians and patients, and between attending and referring physicians and their offices. And now I have some testimonials from here. Dr. Jim, this came from your office. We'd highly recommend Savage Consulting for any business that utilizes computers. Prior to meeting Bob in 2001, our two busy dental offices were never able to run efficiently due to computer problems. Fortunately, by a single recommendation from a patient, we were introduced to Bob Savage when this patient had completed his dental visit and tried to check out to get his next appointment, his computers were down. This patient recommended Savage Consulting and gave us his business card. Bob came out to meet us later that morning, and by the end of the day, we were back on track. As a matter of fact, we have not had a single computer incident that wasn't resolved the same day. Savage Consulting has kept us in step with today's market, current technology, and allows us to expedite the business side of our two offices. Last year, we successfully purchased and built a new office in Wesley Chapel. Bob and his crew were there for an initial draft on a paper and held our hands through the entire construction policy. They worked with our electricians, security and phone system personnel during each phase of the construction so that the day we opened, everything worked together. If I had to pick one word to describe Bob Savage, it'd be his integrity, his work ethic, and his honesty, his knowledge combined to make his business successful. I would recommend him to anyone I care about. I really appreciate that. That is one of the best testimonials. Brandon Cataract Center, Dr. Greg Henderson. They've been using us for 12 years, and they have over 60 computers in their 4 locations. We've been doing them for a long time. This is my favorite one. Betsy Singh was looking for a computer company. She saw the word Savage, and she said, I needed my computer salvaged. Here's some of the services we offer. Network design and implementation, security, TV cabling, VPNs, bi-monthly tune-ups, custom workstations, hosted exchange services, email hosting, router antivirus, and that, again, I want to mention router antivirus and intrusion protection. Our intrusion detection software is your first line of defense. You need to have that. Network cabling, online backup with our local vault. With our online backup service, we can not only back it up to the cloud, but we can mirror what we back up to a computer in your office, which makes for a faster, much faster restore. We mount TVs. We have remote access, virus removal, managed services, and there's a sheet in your folders on that. Custom servers, web hosting, content filtering. That keeps employees from doing what they're not supposed to be doing. Laptop repairs, network upgrades. We can upgrade you to gigabit, which most people are on now. Remote access for your iPads and your iPhones. And also we set up a couple offices where they can go around their iPads and they can actually see Dentrix on it. Calendar and contract sharing, quarterly tune-ups, movie and music servers. People like to put people in the chairs and put the earphones on. Digital pins, and they're amazing. I like to show them to everybody here, but I don't have one here. We have hosted SharePoint services and router intrusion detection. Again, that's very important. So this is the end of the seminar. If you have any questions, let us know. We have some paperwork in there for you to fill out that we'd be able to help you.